Hey, Kingston, how are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Good. Can you hear me?
I can.
Awesome. I appreciate you meeting with me. I understand you work with Benson.
I do. Uh, and it looks like you're shopping at my wife's favorite spot.
Oh yeah, did you see the DI thing?
Yeah. Is that the one in Rexburg?
It's the one in Idaho Falls.
Oh, okay.
It it tends to have a little bit more um, than the other one. And honestly, my girls are the ones shopping, and so I'm just being the chaperone right now.
Gotcha. Well,
So
if we need to move this to a time where you're in front of a computer, I'm happy to do that.
I think we should be okay because most of it is just collecting your stuff.
Okay.
And are you okay with me recording this?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, good. Well, let me tell you a little bit of what I'm doing. I'm looking for the it factor. You know what I mean by the it factor?
Yeah. Hard to identify intangible that sets the person apart.
Um, because a lot of it is trying to find out what is that magic bullet that says, all right, we want them on our team, we need them on our team, we want to keep them on our team, and so that's kind of where we're at. So I've got this laid out into the finding stage, the interview stage, the initial hiring stage, and then the promotion stage. So it's about 10 questions,
Yep.
and so I think when you answer these, think of the best employee or coworker that you have, and keep them in mind, because
Okay.
they have the it factor, and so. But for the most part, just answer whatever you think, and we'll go from there.
And, I hire a pretty wide range of skill level and position level. Is this geared toward anyone in particular?
Nope, nope.
Because,
I'm looking for general principles.
okay, because I'll give you an example. When we're hiring for a CEO, that's a very different process and
Hmm.
analysis and what we look for than when we're hiring somebody to operate our heat presses.
I see. Yeah, and I think as you go through this, maybe keep all of it in mind, because I think some of it is because I'm looking for some of the qualities and skills and characteristics that maybe both of them possess. Because
Okay.
hopefully somebody that you hire for the heat press is somebody you want to keep on the team and ultimately maybe run your company so you can go on vacation or something. But
Probably not.
all right, yeah, probably not. But Not the vacation part, right?
Right. So, and it also depends on what role they're filling. For example, we talked about one of the weaknesses at Liquid Yachtwear is we've got a sales team and their professional progression is actually quite limited because of the positions available that they can grow into. We're a
Yeah,
small team. We're 19 people total. 11 of us or 10 of us are here in the United States. The rest are over in France at their location. So if you're looking at a 10-person operation, four of them are in sales. We've got one sales manager and then a bunch of other positions. What is a sales rep going to grow into? So
sure.
we actually structure that as, okay, we know that we're likely to get 2 to 3 years of longevity out of them. How do we structure the position so that they're getting fulfillment professionally and personally so that they stick around for the 3 years? And how do we structure our hiring so that we're never left in a rut because the people with knowledge leave at an unexpected time, so we're backfilling. So it really depends on the position that we're hiring for.
Okay.
What so there's a lot of variance, but happy to go through and talk kind of generally, and we can see if some of these questions apply differently when depending on what we're hiring for.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
since this
perfect.
is this is a research project that's meant to help recent grads or
Yeah.
students going into that first position, I think it probably
Yeah.
makes sense to maybe skew it toward some of the more entry level post undergrad positions. And I
Okay.
can talk about
Perfect.
what we look for them.
Okay. Now that'd be good. And if there is some insights for people that you're trying to hire on the upper side, um, we can talk about that too.
Yeah.
All right. So when you think about the best people your company has hired, how were they first discovered or noticed?
Um, Often the best ones came as recommendations. So, we posted the job. I'll think of one. We hired this person was with us for 8 years, and we hired her based on we posted the job for an opening, and then one of our vendors actually said, "Hey," and so we made it known, "Hey, do you know anybody we're hiring?" So we broadcast that with people that not everybody that we talked to, but you know, this was a recommendation from a vendor of ours that said, "Hey, you should actually consider this person. I've worked with them before. I know that I heard they were looking." And they weren't actually looking for a sales position. They were looking for a purchasing and buyer position. But we interviewed them. She was really good. So that one came as a recommendation.
Oh,
Another
good.
one that we've hired was an intern who we weren't necessarily looking for the position. And it was a recommendation from my business, from Benson, saying, "Hey, this guy's really sharp. Do we have an internship that we could create?" Um, and that actually led to an opportunity where he's taking on more of a leadership role years later because we're bringing him back on in a totally different position years later because we
Mhm.
liked what he did as an intern. So first discovered or hired, the really good ones have come from recommendations of people that we know.
So that networking of in sorts. I love that.
Huge.
Um, when you're sorting through many applications, what makes one person rise to the top before even the interview stage?
So that for us really is unique in our hiring. We hire for and just thinking about Liquid Yachtwear, we hire for you have to physically be here. So for us, the very first criteria is are you within a reasonable driving distance of our headquarters? If you're not, we're not paying to we're not paying to have you move here. That's just a decision that we've made that we don't pay relocation packages. So right away we're looking at who's within a reasonable driving distance. then I look at for the specific job that we're hiring for, we've identified the skills and the abilities that are necessary for success in the role, and we're
Hmm.
looking for those who have shown an aptitude for that. Either they studied in that area, they have experience in that area, they have other jobs. We're really not a hire fresh out of college kind of company.
Hmm.
But if we do have some positions that are entry level where we could, um, and so location, do they have the experience in the skill set that we're looking for? Um, and then that if they match those two, because those are criteria that we can filter out, if they match those two, then I'm looking at their resume and is it one of the pre-built, you know, Indeed created it from what they entered, or did they actually take time to present it in a visually appealing, you know, resume? And then I'm looking at is is everything, was there effort put into the resume that showcases they understand how important this is, so that the same level of effort they put into their resume, they're going to be putting into their job. Like, and not necessarily the same, but the amount of effort they put into presenting themselves, I extrapolate that to mean, okay, do they understand how important this application is? Did they put in the requisite effort? Are they going to understand the importance of the job that they're filling? And are they going to put in the requisite additional effort to do well at the job? Most of the jobs that we put out there, we put minimum requirements because you have to have some level of metric. But I'm also looking for somebody that's going to take initiative. That's somebody that's going to do more than what's required.
So,
Because my goal is not to have them in that position forever. My goal is to have them grow personally and professionally. And if they're only doing enough to meet the minimum bar for that position, I don't have anything to base I don't have their performance to base off of, like, could they take on more if they haven't already exceeded what the expectations are.
yeah, that makes sense. And I like that because that kind of gets into some future questions a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, when you're in the hiring stage, are there any qualities or skills that make someone stand out during the hiring process beyond just their resume or formal qualifications?
Yeah.
I know you mentioned some of it, but is there anything that just like this is what really makes it pop?
So, and again, this really depends on the position, but I think this is pretty universally applicable. When they need to be personable, they need to be able to interact. They need to be somebody that's a human being. Um, somebody that sorry, I'm thrown off. Hey everybody.
He says hi. He's waving at you. You're on my earphone.
Oh, okay, cool. All right.
Um,
In terms of what makes them stand out, um, honestly, they've got to check the boxes for the basics. Like, they've got to have a good handshake. They've got to present themselves well. They've got to come dressed the part. They've got to be be able to interact with people on at like a human level, and not, we hired somebody that I was like, man, I really like them. They've got the skills, but they were super quiet in the interview. That
yeah.
was that was difficult. We ended up still hiring them and they've done a great job, but that's been something that they have struggled with the entire time they've been here. It's like they're not outgoing enough in the position that requires some level of being outgoing. Um,
And can you
I
catch those pretty early on in the interview process?
Yeah, I mean, because, we're making hiring decisions based on somewhere between 30 minutes and an hour and a half of interaction with this person, whether that's reviewing their resume, calling references, or the interview itself. We're having to extrapolate a lot from a limited amount of data.
Yeah.
And so we're really taking a eyes wide open approach to what are the things that we liked? Well, this person was really quiet. Is that part of their personality? Were they just nervous in the interview? But also knowing, that was hiring for a basically a in-store customer service and sales position. They're going to be interacting with lots of new people that they've never met, and so we need them to be pretty comfortable in an unknown, unfamiliar, uncomfortable situation. And so that one was looking back, it's like, yeah, I caught on to that very early on. Um, because we've done so many interviews and hires, I can spot it pretty quickly. But I don't get it right every time. Like we
Yeah.
just hired somebody. I was like, man, this guy, he's personable, he's confident, he comes with experience. And then 1 week in, I just let him go because he was confident, he knew his stuff, but he actually in this 1 week came across as a know-it-all. He was trying to change all of the processes that were already established within his first few days. And he was too confident and too he so it can be you don't want to be too confident because you need to be coachable. You need to be
Mhm.
um, the other thing that stands out is if they don't have questions, that's an almost automatic, I'm gonna have a hard time hiring you.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. So questions could be a vital part in finding reasons to hire people.
Absolutely. Like if I'll typically my interview process is typically I've already reviewed your resume. I've seen that you have experience necessary. I've looked at another component for me is, what's important for me is hiring somebody that's going to stay. And the historic indicator for that is how long did they stay at previous jobs? If there's somebody that has 3 months, 6 months, 3 months, 1 month, 3 months, I'm not going to even interview them. But if there's somebody that has 1 year, 3 years, and now they're interviewing with me, it's like, okay, they stuck around for 3 years. If they've
Yeah.
got 1 year, 1 year, 1 year, 1 year, I'm only going to interview them if I'm okay with them sticking around for 1 year. Um, this guy that we hired, he was at his previous job for 3 years. The one before that, he was there for a year, and the one before that, he was there for 4 years. And it's like, all right, that's enough longevity that I'll give him a shot. I'm going to spend 3 months training him, and I'll get, hopefully 3 years of value out of him. Um,
Interesting. Are there any other warning signs or gaps that make you hesitant to hire someone besides their longevity at companies, even if
yeah,
they appear qualified on paper?
yeah. So I mean, simple stuff. If they're too early for the interview, that bugs me. If they're late for the interview without a heads up, then I question whether or not um, they're going to be reliable. Um, if they don't ask questions during the interview, oh, so I was explaining. So
Yeah.
review their resume. I go through a little bit about the position because I can't showcase all of it on the listing.
Yeah.
Then I start asking questions about, tell me about something that you're most proud of at work. Tell me about a time that you failed at work and what you did about it. Tell me what you hope to accomplish here and what would you hope to accomplish here in 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years?
Mhm.
Um, and then after I ask several questions, I'll open it up to them and say, what questions do you have? I'll also I'll investigate like why do you want to work at Liquid Yachtwear? What were you able to learn about it in prepping for this interview? And if they said, "Oh, I just looked at the website and that's all they did," that's a really poor mark on them. And
Yeah.
some will actually answer like, "Oh, I don't actually know. I applied for the job and I showed up." It's like automatically you're not reaching the level required for, and a lot of this goes to I know what the position needs. You have to take initiative, you have to do digging, you have to be thorough to be successful in the positions that we're hiring for. And so if you're not even doing the basics of learn about the company, research the company, look at the website, see who else works here, ask I mean, you can even ask ChatGPT, I'm going in for an interview. What are three questions that I need to ask an employer? And it'll spit out like, tell me about the culture at your company. That's a great question. And I would
Yeah,
love it if a candidate asks that. Um, how do you measure success 90 days in, 6 months in, and a year in? Like, that's a great question
yeah,
because then it's making us aligned on, okay, they know what they need to be doing. I can set a clear expectation of what we need to be doing, and we're both going to be on the same page looking at 90 days from now, 6 months from now, and a year from now, how are we doing?
yeah.
So
Well,
go ahead.
okay, I love that. Because when you're looking at these candidates, are there any qualities or behaviors that help them become a strong long-term fit for the workforce? Because you mentioned that one guy that, after a week you knew he wasn't a good fit. Are there good signs that, okay, this is a good fit? We want to make sure that we give them all the resources they need to succeed.
Yeah, so I would say a lot of that has to do with the culture in the company. So our particular culture is very team oriented. Um, we're a small company, so we get to wear a lot of hats, meaning I might be the one helping pack boxes and deliver it to FedEx as the CEO. So if somebody's, unwilling to step outside of what is their job, quote unquote, job description, it's like, no, the job description specifically says anything else requested by management, like that's part of your job description. Like we are a small team, and so the culture that we have is we will do whatever it takes to keep our clients happy. So that might mean sticking around till 6:30 when we close at 5:30. That might mean going above and beyond doing X, Y, or Z. And so that willingness, um, that's important. Also, owning and learning from your mistakes. Like I already know a new person in any of the roles that we have is gonna make dozens, if not hundreds of mistakes. How do they learn from them? How do they grow and adapt? Are they able to learn from other people's mistakes so that they don't make them? And it's sort of a trick question because I'll ask them, I'll say, tell me about a time where you made a mistake at work. The bigger mistake, the better. Um, because not that I want somebody to say, oh my gosh, I made this mistake and it nearly bankrupted the company, because I think that would make me question hiring them. But I want an actual mistake and to understand like how did they own up to it? How did they handle it? How did they learn from it?
Yeah,
How did you once they tell me what the mistake is, the follow on is how did you discover that mistake was made? And if it's they took initiative and they discovered it and then they brought it up to their supervisor and they said, "Hey, how do we fix this?" That to me is gold because
yeah,
it's like I don't want somebody that's trying to hide things. Like do I want mistakes made? No, but if I don't know about it, we can't fix it. And then if it goes to the client with a mistake on their order, we could be losing that client forever. Um, what was the question again? What were some of the red flags, warning signs, gaps?
well, what behaviors help someone become a long-term fit for the
Okay.
company?
So,
Well, and another way to ask that, are there um, anything that separates an employee who just simply does their job versus somebody that's a strong candidate for promotion?
yeah. I mean, it's evident in how they how they we've got several who and I get it, like with millennials and younger, they don't want to be working extra hours. They want significant work-life balance. They want purpose. They want to change the world.
Yeah,
Um, but if they're making it all about them, like if somebody shows that they want to make an impact and help the company, that's huge.
yeah,
If they want to, if they really care about the company and care about the clients and care about other team members, that's big. And so the opposite of that would be, if they're selfish or they're in it just for themselves, or, I if they're entitled or um yeah, entitlement is one that's like that's not gonna fly here.
Yeah. Interesting. Uh, yeah, almost has a sense of they have to have the confidence on one side of things, but then on the other side, they need to have the humility. So it's like that good
Uh-huh.
middle ground. Huh.
Yeah.
Um, so when it comes to promotion, are there any qualities or behaviors or skills that prevent someone from being promoted even when they're technically good at their job?
Yeah. If they ever say anything like, well, that's not my job, or show any sort of unwillingness, like, well, I'll do that if you pay me beforehand. It's like, how do I know if you're even gonna be able to like succeed at it if you're not taking on more than what is quote unquote your job description? Like I said, your job description is pretty flexible. We're a small company. So if they've ever, you know, missing deadlines, incom not completing or following through on assignments. As a CEO, I've got all kinds of assignments and tasks and I need you to do. I'm I'm bouncing around to several different departments or heads of department or different individuals, and in the moment, I get enough information to be able to make the decision, and then I give direction and I say, okay, send me I'll give these different tasks, but I won't necessarily put it in a follow-up. And if I come back and I'm like, hey, did you ever send that to me? And they're like, oh, let me get that for you. Like if they don't follow through on it, I've got to be able to rely on them to take it, ask enough questions to understand the assignment and actually
Yeah.
follow through and do it, and then proactively report back to me.
Yeah.
So if they're ever, you know, not not fulfilling their current responsibilities in a way where I have full confidence in what they're doing, I'm not going to look to promote them. And I
Yeah.
might, if they're not, I'll teach or coach them on that. But if it's a recurring thing where I'm having to coach them a second or third time, I'm going to put them on a performance review and probably look at letting them go.
Interesting. So not only that they're teachable, but they uh, are adaptable and they can learn as they go. And like you said earlier, with the failures and adapting and growing, sounds
Yep.
like. When you think about the people who are most successful in your organization or industry, what qualities, characteristics, or skills do they consistently demonstrate?
Um, really personable, and also reliable. You give them an assignment or you give them a task or a job or even a project, and it's like you can count on them following through and getting it done. Um, Ability to learn and figure things out. And that doesn't require them to figure it out on their own. They can figure it out by asking questions to those who know, like supervisors or other team members, but they recognize what they know and what they don't know, and they find ways to fill in the gaps for what they don't know. Um, what else? Trying to think of other things. What qualities, characteristics, or skills do they consistently demonstrate?
Yeah,
Organization is huge. Being able to keep track of lots of different projects or tasks at different levels of completion and being able to follow those through and keep up with deadlines and no matter what business you're in, you've got customers who are either receiving a service or a product by some deadline. And you have to understand the steps that you're involved in that help progress that uh, to the recipient of that product or service by the date that they need it by. You've got to be able to hit deadlines.
Yeah, that one hits home to me because I teach students how to be self-organized. Usually, it's when they don't have an organizational structure, and I try to teach them strategies to do that. So I love that. That's a key component what you're talking about.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay, well,
everything that we do is deadline driven, even if the deadlines are arbitrary. You know, me and my business partners were talking about, okay, can we have this done by Monday? Nobody cares if it's actually Monday, but that's what we all agreed to.
yeah,
Like we could have picked some other day, but Monday is the day, so it's like, can you get everything done to be, you know, finishing your part and completing it by Monday? You've got to do it.
yeah, interesting. All right, well, I've got one last question for you.
Yep.
If you were to advise your 17-year-old self, got to go back in time to think about this. Um, you want to be hired, you have that fire in your belly, you want to succeed, eventually be promoted and get where you want to go. What would you tell yourself to develop first and why?
Develop first. I'll answer the question a little bit differently because I don't know that it necessarily is requiring develop this first, but some of the components for getting that, how to be hired, succeed, and eventually be promoted. One of the critical components is whatever job or responsibility you're given, do it really, 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 really well. Like every everything that you're doing, you're being judged on. So I had my first job out of law school, I was hired as a part-time intern. This was after law school, and I didn't know that they were actually using this internship
Right.
to like see could this person be hired as one of our attorneys, like full-time attorneys. I just saw this as this is I need a job and this is going to help me work while I'm looking for a real job. And you know, it ended up being I did a really good job, and then I got the offer to be associate general counsel, and my responsibilities didn't change at all because I had grown to the level of this is the I'm performing at such a high level that when they gave me the job promotion, all it was a title change and a pay change.
Huh.
Everything that I was doing was still the same.
Huh.
So the advice that I would give is absolutely crush it at whatever responsibilities that you have and look for ways to provide more value, do more than what's expected, and make it known that you in a and this is where you've got to have the fine balance. Make it known that you want to do more. But that comes with humility that you've got to recognize you don't know everything. You need to be willing to learn and to understand the business. So learn lots about how the business operates, even if it's not necessarily required for your current position. But
Yeah.
do more than what's expected. If there is ever an opportunity where it's like, hey, we need somebody to do X, Y, and Z, we know this is a little bit outside of the scope, volunteer for that stuff because that showcases to the managers or those who are promoting that look, if we promote this person, he's already or she, they've already shown an inclination for wanting to step up and do more. Well, that
Yeah.
just adds to the confidence in these managers that yeah, if we promote them, they'll be able to do more because they've already shown it because they've said they wanted it, they're offering to do more. And so absolutely crush it at your current responsibilities. Look for opportunities to do even more than that, while at the same time being humble enough to recognize like
Yeah.
you don't know what you don't know the full picture. So add that with a level of humility and openness to being coachable.
This is awesome. Um, on a personal note, because I'm a professor at BYU Idaho,
Yeah,
um, I've recorded this just so I can collect the data using AI and stuff and help me analyze those things. Can I take some of the snippets that you've said and use it in my class as a teaching thing?
sure. Sure.
Okay. That's so cool.
What what's your what's your schedule for teaching classes? Are you teaching over the summer?
Over the summer, I'm doing this research the whole time and juggling
Okay.
family, getting ready for our summer camp thing. but but so in the fall, I'm teaching 3 life skill classes, and that's where a lot of the stuff you're talking about is going to be helpful. And then 2 public speaking classes. So I've got a busy
Awesome.
schedule in the fall. So
Well, my wife's in Idaho right now. She and my kids are in Sugar City.
are you serious?
Yeah, so I'll
That's where
be,
I live.
you probably know him. So
Where?
Christy Jepson is my
Oh
wife.
wait, I didn't know Chrissy's your wife.
Yeah.
That is cool.
So
That's neat.
Christy Jepson, we've got 5 kids. They're up in Idaho right now. I'm actually going to be flying up to Idaho Falls and seeing them probably the 23rd or 24th.
Okay.
So I was just there in Idaho Falls for the Melaleuca's final fireworks show.
Wasn't that awesome?
It was incredible.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it makes me sad that we won't see it again unless they can figure it out. But
Yeah. No, so like I've heard about the Melaleuca show for years and years, and we never ended up going. And so this year I was like, hey, this is their final year. This is my last and only opportunity to see it. We're
yeah,
going. So it was really cool.
yeah, went out with a bang for sure. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, that's neat. We have more sugar ties.
Yeah.
Is that how you met Benson? Is through
Yeah,
Christy?
so Christy was really good friends with Benson's younger sister.
Okay. Yep.
And so Kim married Jeff.
Yeah.
I knew Jeff on a personal level through Christy and Kim. So
Okay.
Jeff was working with Benson, and Jeff actually suggested my name as, a candidate to run one of these companies. So
That's
12
cool.
years ago, I came on and we moved our family to Florida to run a tropical plant company.
Are you still doing that? Because I didn't see that on your email.
No, so
Okay.
ran the tropical plant company. 2 years into running that, we bought Liquid Yachtwear.
Okay.
And so for 7 years, I was running both. I was CEO of both companies
Wow.
simultaneously. Um, 2.5 years ago, sold out of the plant company, and they brought on Benson's son-in-law to run that one. I've still been running Liquid Yachtwear for the last 9.5 years, but also 4.5 years ago, we started, me, Benson, and Jeff, a partnership where we've acquired 4 other companies.
You guys are awesome. I, I always catch up with Benson and Jeff. I actually went to school with Jeff.
Okay.
Um, I wish I could say I got Jeff and Kim together, but they did that on their own. But I knew both of them at the same time.
Okay.
So fun. Um, yeah, Benson's brother Spencer is my best friend. So there's
Okay.
that connection.
Is
And
Spencer
then
older or
we
younger than Benson? Younger, right?
younger, yeah.
Yeah.
So about 2 years younger. And then
Awesome.
Benson's parents, we just moved them out of their house into a new house, and my sister-in-law bought their house. So there's all these interconnections
Sugar
happening.
City.
Yeah.
I love it out there. So,
Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too. I'm glad I'm back there. Well, Kingston, it was a pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much. Sorry about the chaos with the DI and my kids, but
no, you're good. It's great meeting you as well. And, I'm happy to, if you ever wanted to do a Zoom with the class, or if you ever have guest speakers in the class,
oh,
keep
for
me in
sure.
mind.
Okay, yeah. And if you're ever in town and you're like, hey, I've got an extra hour, I'll fill a room full of kids so you can come talk to and give some pointers to.
Okay. Awesome.
That'd be awesome. Um, I guess as a blanket sweep, I'll probably follow up with an email. But if you think of anybody else that could help me out with these just general questions of employability and
Yeah.
and you think, yeah, that you should talk to this guy, I'd love to get that referral from you.
How many people are you looking to interview?
I
What
want
kind
to
of?
I want to interview 100 total, and I'm at about 35, so I'm
Okay.
not quite halfway there. So
Okay. Very good.
okay,
All righty. Well, great
all
chatting
right,
with you. Nice to meet you.
good to meet you. We'll
All right.
talk
We'll
to you
see you.
soon, and if I run into Christy, I'll tell her the connection.
All right. Sounds great. We'll
All
see you.
right, we'll see you. Bye bye.
Bye.